All right, everybody, welcome back to Secret Garden Farms channel. It's good to see you today, and I just want to talk to you about a little bit about sprouting for you as well as for your chickens. There's some great benefits to all of it, and it's a good time to do it even in the winter. It gives you greens all around, and it puts some good nutrients into your food as well as for your chickens. So I have my little setup here today, and at the end I'll show you what kind of salad that I made for our lunch today that me and my husband are about to enjoy. So I've started this project last Saturday, I want to say, so today Wednesday, so about 5 days ago I started the project just to try it out. I saw some fermenting and sprouting videos and info and articles that I read on the internet, and I figured I'd give it a try myself, and I went to our local seed and feed store that we have here in the area. It's always good to support local if you can. A lot of times also you're going to get more affordable products, cheaper products, and more high quality products depending on your area. So here we are in farming country. Most of our friends probably are like, what are you doing? But we are in farming country out here, and a lot of the items that probably in the big cities are not that easily available are available out here to us right here in a local store for the big farmers. But then in the cities there's also like smaller places that are more commercialized where you can get all these items from. And then if you're like in states like probably like San Diego, California, or New York City, you might be able to go to your local pet store and get some of these items from them. So I went and I got corn, barley, oats, and sunflower seeds. And I soaked them in water. Now I'm about to show you how to do this, but this is my results after 5 days for the sunflower seeds for sprouting. You can see that. And they've been sprouting pretty good, but what I've noticed is in these big jars that I was using is that it kind of more ferments than it sprouts. So usually when I do it for ourselves, I use smaller jars like these, and I only put a little bit on the bottom, and then it's just like a 1 or 2 day portion. But it takes less time to sprout, and it has more room, and it also keeps down the smell, the mold, and all that. So this is when I sprout for us. And this was when I was trying to sprout for the chickens, and it was just a huge mess, I would say, and it smells kind of in the house too. I like doing it on the counter because I see it, and when you sprout, you want to wash out your seeds in between in order to keep them watered and have the moisture in there so they keep sprouting, as well as to just avoid the mold and wash all that out, the bacteria that starts to build. Because if you let it sit and it's just a little damp in there, then it starts to ferment if you don't wash it out. And then that's a whole different process than when you do the sprouting. If you don't wash it out and it sits for too long, it starts to mold, or it starts to dry back out depending on your climate or whatever's going on in your house at that point. So I decided to just go smaller this time. So this is the original experiment. Not a bad try, but could have done better. The new one I'm going to do with smaller jars. So that's the new one I got, and I separated them this time too. And this one I have the oats, the barley, and the corn already in it. And they're all sprouting at different times, so I figured I'm going to do corn, oats, and sunflower seeds in a smaller jar separately this time. So as I was saying earlier, I like to recycle and save some money. So these are jars one's from the sauerkraut. This was a sauerkraut jar. And then the other ones used to be pasta jars, and they're great for these little projects and experiments when you do them at home, because you don't have to run out and buy like canning jars or any other kind of glass jars. So we always save these. It always breaks my heart when I just throw them in the trash. Out here we don't really recycle unless you drive it somewhere far. Whereas in bigger cities, like you have the little blue bin, red bin, newspaper bin, all of that. Out here in the country, we have one trash bin and everything goes in there. So since we've lived here, we've always kind of tried to figure out how can we make the recycling process a little bit more better for the environment, because I grew up, we recycled everything. Like everything. You had your own compost, you had your newspaper pile, you had a plastic pile, you had a styrofoam pile, you had your regular trash pile, and you had to pay for everything separately to recycle it. Now that we're in the country and it's like, you can't just throw it in a hole, that's just not good for the environment. So we started the compost bin that you saw earlier outside, and just to show you, like these are chicken scraps from the week and cooking and stuff that was forgotten in the refrigerator. So these items are going to be free chicken feed, and they're going to love that too. I want to say that's probably about, I don't know, 3-4 pounds. So it's a lot of food that usually would have went in our regular trash that now the chickens are going to eat. So these jars now just have a small layer in them, and you're probably like, well, why only so little? When you sprout, these things are gonna grow. At first, when they first hydrate, they're already gonna grow. And you can give them to them just like that. So they're not sprouted, they're just soaked. So now when they eat the seeds, they also get some water out of them, and it makes it a little easier to digest. Or you can, and it takes about, let's say 3 to 5 days, depending on how warm it is in your house or the garage or wherever you're putting it to sprout, in order for them to sprout. So I'm gonna put water in these, and then we're gonna go from there. And you gotta let them sit for about 8 to 12 hours, or if it's easier for you, just overnight. Let them sit and soak before you start the straining process. So we'll soak in them. Got the oats, the corn. All right. So now they're just gonna sit like this, and I prefer using cheesecloth. You can use any kind of material you have at home, really. You can use an old t-shirt to put over it. You can use a towel, a dish towel, what else? I like cheesecloth, that's my favorite right now. And the reason is when you take this and you put the water in it and you strain it, the water goes easier through the cheesecloth than anything else. I have flour sack towels, and I was trying to use those at first. And when I tried to pour out the water, it was really hard to get the water out, so I had to like open it up and then drain it that way. So I went back to the cheesecloth. It's really cheap to have, and you can get multiple uses out of it. So it usually comes in like these big rolls, and you don't hardly need anything for that. And at the end, just makes life a little bit easier to just cut off those pieces. So, sure, there we go. And you don't need much, just to cover that up. One. Two. Three. Awesome. Cool. And then, I don't even know where we got these things from, but I have a couple of these strings here. They're rubber strings. Kind of expand a little bit. Again, an old shoelace, any kind of string that you have will do. I like these guys, being that they're already pre-knotted. It makes it pretty easy. I'll just take it. And this also will keep out like flies, if you have flies in the house at the end of the spring. Well, in the spring or even at the end of the summer, we always have a lot of flies in the house. This keeps out the flies, and so they don't go in there and then lay their eggs, and now you're dealing with a maggot problem. It also keeps out anything, like if you're cooking in the kitchen, from falling in, and it just makes it a little bit cleaner of a process, especially if you're trying to eat it afterwards. So if you're sprouting like mung beans, I like to sprout the mung beans. That's what I was showing you in here. For salads, it makes it better for you at home when you cover it up and you keep out all the dirt and any particles that are flying around in here. If you want to do it even more better, you can double layer it, and then it works better. All right, one more. There we go. You could also, if you don't want to use cheesecloth, or if you don't want to run out into the store, you can also use the lids. Just take a knife, a hammer, just be careful. Poke holes in it, and then you can use it that way too. So I want to keep these lids just in case I decide to like make a sauce and I need to store it. I can pour it back in one of those jars and then put it back in the refrigerator. We use these jars for pickling, all kind of good stuff, but it's a free resource that already comes with your sauce when you buy it, or your pickles, or your sauerkraut, whatever you're purchasing in a jar. And instead of throwing them out, give them 1 or 2 more uses. This way, at least, they lived a more fulfilled life, is what I consider. So here's the mung beans that I sprouted for us. I'll show you those a little bit closer. And I'm going to take these out. I made a salad for me and my husband for lunch today. Just a couple of lettuce, tomatoes, avocado, some lemon. And I made a Asian dressing today because I really enjoy that taste. So it's just a little bit of soy sauce, sesame oil, some ginger, and a little bit of tamarind. So I'm going to pour that over here. There we go. Awesome. Add my mung beans. And the reason I only make this much is because the kids don't really like the mung beans yet. So till they get used to eating those, I just like to make a portion at a time. But these, once they're fully sprouted, you can put them in the refrigerator and they'll probably last about 5 days in the refrigerator in a good container. But that's another topic for another day. Today, I like to just eat them fresh. As soon as they're done, we make a salad, we eat them. I'll put some sesame seeds over it to make it a little bit more Asian inspired. There we go. And then my husband and I are gonna have some lunch. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got some value out of it, hit like on the bottom so we know to keep making those videos. Otherwise, you can also subscribe to our channel. Have a wonderful day and we'll talk to you soon. Bye from Secret Garden Farms.